Beaches are the most visited natural environments on Earth. Every year, billions of people go to them. They spread out their towels, walk into the water, watch their children play in the surf, and assume, almost universally, that the worst thing that can happen is a sunburn. For most beaches, that assumption is roughly correct. For the beaches on this list, it is the kind of assumption that ends with a body count. Warning signs are posted at many of these places. Governments have issued formal advisories. Some have swimming bans that are legally enforced. At one of them, a wooden board near the water keeps a running tally of the number of people who have died there, updated whenever someone else does. At another, the ban on entering the water applies to everyone, including experienced swimmers and professional surfers. At another, the threat is not from the ocean at all. It is from an animal on the beach that has been known to attack children. This is not a list of beaches where something bad once happened. This is a list of beaches where bad things happen consistently, repeatedly, and for reasons that are physical, documented, and permanent. The currents that make Hanakapiai Beach in Hawaii a drowning machine do not take days off. The sharks that patrol Reunion Island did not arrive recently. The radioactive contamination of Bikini Atoll has been there for 70 years and will be there for centuries more. You can visit these beaches. Some of them are genuinely beautiful. But the word beautiful is not the same as the word safe, and these 12 places have spent years proving exactly that. Hanakapiai Beach, Kauai, Hawaii, United States. There is a sign near Hanakapiai Beach on the island of Kauai in Hawaii. It is a wooden board posted by local authorities, and it does one simple thing. It keeps count. As of the most recent update, the sign records more than 80 deaths. 80 people who came to this beach and did not leave it alive. The beach itself is beautiful. It sits on the Na Pali coast, one of the most photographed stretches of coastline in the world, accessible by a 2-mile hike through rainforest on the Kalalau Trail. The sand is gold. The cliffs are black and dramatic. The water is clear. There are no lifeguards and there is no cell service. And the ocean here has a characteristic shared by very few beaches in the world. There is no offshore reef. At almost every other beach in Hawaii, coral reefs sit offshore and absorb the energy of the open Pacific before it reaches the sand. At Hanakapiai, the Pacific hits the shore at full power. Waves arrive with the energy of thousands of miles of open ocean behind them, and the riptides they generate are among the strongest recorded at any beach in the United States. The drop at the water's edge is steep. The current pulls west after taking a swimmer in, and for miles in that direction, there is no place to get out. Bodies of some victims have never been found. A tour guide who has worked the Na Pali coast for years described the mechanism to a journalist. The water takes a person, carries them west in a current that runs along the base of the cliffs, and there is no exit point. The ocean does not bring them back. The trail to the beach is marked as one of the most beautiful hikes in Hawaii. The sign at the water's edge tells you what happens to the people who decide to swim anyway. Boa Viagem Beach, Recife, Brazil. Boa Viagem Beach is an urban beach inside one of the largest cities in northeastern Brazil. Hotels line the road behind it. Families visit it on weekends. It has the character of a city beach that is part of daily life for the people of Recife. Its shark attack rate is among the highest of any populated beach on Earth. Out of 47 recorded attacks in less than a decade following the early 1990s, 16 were fatal. That is a fatality rate of 37%. By comparison, the global average fatality rate for shark attacks is approximately 16%. Boa Viagem's rate is more than double. The cause of the elevated shark presence can be traced directly to human activity. In the 1990s, a new port facility was constructed south of Recife. The construction disturbed the habitat of bull sharks that had previously fed and reproduced in the area. Displaced from their established territory, the sharks moved north along the coast and into the waters around Boa Viagem. Bull sharks are particularly dangerous. They are one of the most aggressive shark species in the world, capable of surviving in both saltwater and freshwater, and they hunt in shallow water close to shore. Signs were posted. Portions of the beach were officially closed to swimming. Some people ignored the warnings. More attacks followed. The port that caused the problem is still there. The sharks are still there. And the beach, which was a normal city beach before a construction decision changed the ecosystem around it, is still being used by people who live beside it and have nowhere else to go. Reunion Island, Indian Ocean. The island of Reunion is a French overseas territory in the Indian Ocean, about 50 miles southwest of Mauritius. Its beaches are beautiful. Its interior is dramatic volcanic landscape. Its coral reefs and warm water make it the kind of place that appears in travel magazines. Between 2011 and 2021, it recorded 24 shark attacks. 11 of them were fatal. In 2017 alone, Reunion accounted for nearly half of all fatal shark attacks in the entire world, earning it a designation from researchers as the shark attack capital of the world for that year. The French authorities have responded with formal, enforceable swimming bans across large sections of the coastline, not advisories, not warnings, legal prohibitions on entering the water within 300 meters of the shore in the restricted zones. The reason for the concentration of sharks is environmental. Reunion sits on what researchers describe as a corridor between Australia and South Africa, a route used by tiger sharks and bull sharks during their migrations across the Indian Ocean. The island's geography and the warm currents around it make its waters particularly attractive to both species. Tiger sharks and bull sharks are among the most dangerous to humans of any shark species. Several attacks have occurred in areas that were considered safe based on the current restricted zones, suggesting that the bans have not fully resolved the geographic distribution of the risk. Experienced surfers, people who were aware of the dangers and believed they were operating within acceptable limits, have been killed. The island is still visited, its natural beauty is genuine, but swimming freely in the ocean around Reunion is no longer a normal part of the tourist experience there, because the government decided the death toll made normal ocean access unjustifiable. New Smyrna Beach, Florida, United States. New Smyrna Beach in Volusia County, Florida is, by the count maintained in the Florida Museum's International Shark Attack File, the most dangerous stretch of coastline in the world for shark bites. It has recorded more shark incidents than any other beach in the United States, and by extension than any other beach in the world tracked by the same database. Since 1880, more than 300 shark incidents have been recorded at New Smyrna Beach. A 2021 research study found that it accounted for more than twice the shark bites of any other beach in the United States. The reasons are physical and specific. The beach sits at the mouth of Ponce Inlet, where the Indian River Lagoon drains into the Atlantic. The inlet is a rich feeding ground for baitfish, which attract sharks. The murky water near the inlet makes it difficult for sharks to distinguish between their natural prey and the human limbs of surfers in the water. Bull sharks, the species most commonly involved in the bites, are present in the area year-round. Most bites at New Smyrna Beach are not fatal. Researchers describe them as investigatory bites, where a shark makes contact to determine whether something is prey and releases it when it determines otherwise. But an investigatory bite from a bull shark is capable of causing serious and permanent injury. The word investigatory does not mean painless or harmless. It means the shark decided you were not worth eating after it already bit you. Research suggests that on peak surf days with good conditions, the majority of surfers in the water at New Smyrna Beach are within a few feet of a shark at some point during their session, whether they know it or not. The warnings are posted. The beach is not closed. The surfers keep coming. The sharks were always there. Fraser Island, Queensland, Australia. Fraser Island, now officially known as K'gari, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site off the coast of Queensland. It is the largest sand island in the world. Its freshwater lakes, ancient rainforest growing on sand, and pristine beaches make it one of the most ecologically extraordinary places in Australia. It is also one of the most dangerous beaches in the country, for reasons that come from multiple directions at once. The ocean on the eastern side of the island produces strong rip currents that can take even experienced swimmers away from shore within seconds. Great white sharks and tiger sharks are documented in the surrounding waters. In 2020, a shark attack on the eastern beach of Fraser Island resulted in a fatal outcome. Irukandji jellyfish, one of the most venomous creatures in the world, are found in the waters around the island. Their sting causes a syndrome that includes intense pain, nausea, and in severe cases, cardiac arrest. The symptoms can be delayed by hours, meaning a person stung while swimming may feel fine on the beach and become critically ill later. On land, the island is home to dingoes. The Fraser Island dingo population is one of the purest remaining populations of the species in Australia, which is why the government protects them. But dingoes are wild animals. They have attacked people on the island, including a fatal attack on a child aged 9 in April 2001. The Queensland government responded with population management measures, additional rangers, and significant fines for anyone caught feeding the animals. The attacks have continued at reduced frequency. The Fraser Island funnel web spider, a species specific to the island, is also present. The funnel web spider is considered among the most venomous spiders in the world. a UNESCO site with great white sharks in the water, irukandji jellyfish in the surf, dingoes on the beach, and one of the world's most venomous spiders in the bush. Kagari is genuinely extraordinary. It is also a place that requires more caution than most visitors arrive prepared for. Cape Tribulation, Queensland, Australia. Cape Tribulation is where the Daintree rainforest meets the Great Barrier Reef. It is a place of extraordinary natural meeting, where two of the most biodiverse ecosystems on Earth come together at a stretch of Queensland coastline that is remote, beautiful, and genuinely dangerous in ways that seem designed to illustrate exactly what Australia's reputation for lethal wildlife is based on. The water at Cape Tribulation contains saltwater crocodiles, not occasionally, consistently. Saltwater crocodiles are the largest living reptile species on Earth, capable of reaching lengths of more than 20 feet and weights exceeding 1 ton. They are ambush predators of extraordinary efficiency. They wade in the shallows, partially submerged, and strike with explosive speed. Swimming in the ocean at Cape Tribulation is discouraged by authorities not because of a general risk, but because of a specific one. Large, territorial, highly aggressive crocodiles that are documented in the area and that have attacked people. Box jellyfish inhabit the coastal waters seasonally. The box jellyfish is one of the most venomous creatures in the world. Contact with its tentacles causes immediate, extreme pain and can cause cardiac arrest in minutes. Unlike many other dangerous marine creatures that you are unlikely to encounter, box jellyfish in the waters of tropical Queensland during jellyfish season are common enough that swimming is officially discouraged without a stinger suit, even in areas with dedicated beach facilities. The trees at Cape Tribulation are also worth mentioning. The stinging tree, or Gympie, which grows in the Daintree, has fine silicon needles on its leaves that inject a neurotoxic compound through skin contact. The pain is described by researchers who have been stung as among the worst they have experienced, lasting for months and capable of being reactivated by contact with water or changes in temperature. A beach where you cannot swim because of crocodiles, where the ocean stings with a venomous jellyfish, and where the trees on the path to the beach cause months of pain. Cape Tribulation earns its name. Zipolite Beach, Mexico. Zipolite Beach sits on the Pacific coast of the state of Oaxaca in Mexico. Its nickname, which appears in Mexican travel literature and in warning materials distributed by local authorities, is La Playa de la Muerte, the Beach of Death. The name comes from the currents. Zipolite faces the open Pacific with no protective headlands, reefs, or natural barriers of any kind. The waves arrive with full force, and they do not arrive evenly. Powerful undertows pull swimmers down and out with a speed and force that experienced swimmers have described as impossible to fight. The specific topography of the ocean floor at Zipolite creates conditions where the undertow is not just strong but variable, hitting at angles that can disorient even a swimmer who knows what to expect. For years, Zipolite had no lifeguards and no formal safety infrastructure. The death toll from drowning was significant enough that the nickname attached permanently. A volunteer lifeguard organization eventually established a presence at the beach and has reduced the number of drownings substantially. The lifeguards perform more rescues at Zipolite than at almost any other Mexican beach. But the currents have not changed. The beach is still beautiful. It is still visited by thousands of people every year, including many tourists who arrive without knowing the water's history. The warning signs are posted. The lifeguards are present during operating hours. Outside those hours, the Pacific does exactly what it has always done at Zipolite, without any regard for who is in it. Chowpatty Beach, Mumbai, India. Chowpatty Beach sits at the northern end of Marine Drive in Mumbai, one of the most famous seafront promenades in Asia. It is visited by millions of people every year. It hosts celebrations, including the annual Ganesh Chaturthi festival, when enormous idols of the god Ganesh are carried to the beach and submerged in the ocean by massive, joyful crowds. It is part of the social identity of the city. The water at Chowpatty Beach is so polluted that it is considered one of the most contaminated stretches of urban coastline in the world. Mumbai's coastline receives significant volumes of untreated sewage, industrial discharge, and solid waste. The coliform bacteria count in the water at Chowpatty Beach regularly exceeds safe bathing standards by a factor of hundreds. The Pollution Control Board of Maharashtra has declared the beach unfit for bathing on multiple occasions. Despite this, the beach is visited constantly, and people enter the water during festivals and on hot days. The health consequences of exposure to water at this level of contamination include gastrointestinal illness, skin infections, ear infections, and overextended or repeated exposure. more serious conditions linked to the bacteria and heavy metals present in heavily polluted urban coastal water. The danger at Chowpatty is not dramatic and it is not fast. It does not take you in a single wave. It accumulates in the body over time. That makes it easy to underestimate. It also makes it easy for a city to keep treating the beach as a normal public space while the evidence of what the water contains tells a completely different story. Playa Zipper, Baja California Sur, Mexico. Playa Zipper sits in the Los Cabos region of Baja California Sur on Mexico's Pacific coast, a few miles from the resort developments that have made Los Cabos one of Mexico's most visited tourist destinations. The beach looks, in photographs, like exactly the kind of place that Los Cabos is marketed for. Beautiful sand, blue water, dramatic Pacific scenery. The name Zipper refers to the zipper-shaped breaking wave that forms at the beach in certain swell conditions, a wave that surfers travel to experience. What makes Zipper dangerous is not the wave itself, but what happens on either side of it. The beach produces powerful shoreline break waves, which are waves that break directly on the steep slope of the beach rather than in the water offshore. Shoreline break waves carry enormous force and almost no warning before they hit. Swimmers who are in the wrong position when a shoreline break wave arrives can be driven headfirst into the sand with a force capable of causing serious spinal injuries. Multiple cases of this have been documented at Playa Zipper. The undertow at Zipper is strong and sudden. The bottom drops away quickly beyond the break line, so swimmers who are pulled out find themselves in water that goes from waist deep to overhead in a very short distance. The combination of the shoreline break, the sudden depth change, and the undertow creates conditions where misjudging the timing of a wave, which is easy to do, leads to consequences that are very difficult to recover from in the water. Los Cabos has grown significantly as a tourist destination, which means more visitors are encountering Playa Zipper without prior knowledge of what makes it different from a normal beach. The resort context, where everything is designed to feel safe and managed, does not prepare people for a beach that operates entirely on its own terms. Kilauea Beach, Hawaii, United States Hawaii, has some of the most dangerous beaches in the United States, and Kilauea Beach on the island of Kauai is among the ones that local authorities have specifically flagged for extreme rip current danger. The beach sits near the Kilauea River mouth, and like Hanakapiai, it lacks the offshore reef protection that softens the ocean's energy at most Hawaiian beaches. The combination of the river discharge, the open Pacific swell, and the unprotected coastline creates rip currents that have pulled swimmers out of the water and into conditions that very few of them were able to manage. Several drownings have occurred at Kilauea Beach. The remote character of the beach, accessible by trails rather than by road, means that emergency services take longer to arrive when an incident occurs. There are no lifeguards. There is limited cell service. Hawaii's reputation as a tropical paradise means that visitors consistently underestimate the ocean conditions they are walking into. The water is warm, the setting is beautiful, the sky is clear. None of that affects what the current is doing beneath the surface or how quickly it can move someone from a position of confidence to one of catastrophe. Shitovaya Bukhta, Russia. On the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia's far east, there is a stretch of coastline known as Shitovaya Bukhta that produces some of the best surfing waves in the world. The shape of the bay, the Pacific swell, and the underwater topography combine to create conditions that draw surfers from around the world who are willing to make the considerable journey to get there. The water temperature at Shitovaya Bukhta is genuinely dangerous. Even in summer, the Pacific here runs at temperatures that cause hypothermia to set in much faster than most surfers are trained to expect. The remoteness of the location means that rescue, if a surfer gets into trouble, is not a matter of minutes. It is a matter of whether any rescue is even possible before the cold water finishes what it started. Sharks are present in the waters of Kamchatka. The combination of cold water, complete remoteness, no rescue infrastructure, and significant shark presence makes Shitovaya Bukhta an unusually concentrated set of risks for a place that is visited specifically for recreation. The wave is genuinely excellent. The risk of dying for it is also genuine, and for most people who surf, clearly not worth it. The surfers who go there know this. Most of them go anyway. The Gansbaai coastline, South Africa. Gansbaai sits on the southwestern coast of South Africa, roughly 100 miles east of Cape Town, the stretch of water between the mainland and Dyer Island, where tens of thousands of Cape fur seals live and breed, is called Shark Alley. The name is not marketing, it is description. The great white shark population in the waters around Gansbaai is one of the highest documented anywhere on Earth. Great whites follow the seals. Tens of thousands of seals mean enormous numbers of great whites hunting in a very specific and predictable stretch of coastline. Researchers have described the Gansbai waters as one of the few places in the world where great white sharks can be reliably encountered because the conditions that bring them there, an enormous prey population in a consistent location, are permanent. Cage diving with great white sharks became a commercial industry in Gansbai. The industry brought economic benefit to the town and brought the sharks into closer association with human presence. The debate over whether baiting great whites near shore changes their behavior in ways that increase risk to humans outside cages has continued for years without definitive resolution. In recent years, a pod of orcas has moved into the region and begun hunting great white sharks with precision, targeting their livers. The great white population around Dyer Island has responded by vacating the area for extended periods, which has disrupted the cage diving industry and altered the local ecosystem. But the orcas are not present year-round. The seals are still there. And when the great whites return, which they have, they return to water that is adjacent to coastline that people walk along, swim near, and use for water sports. Gansbai is not a place where you casually take a swim. The water here has produced some of the most dramatic footage of great white shark predation ever recorded. That footage was not filmed elsewhere and edited in. It was filmed here because here is where the sharks are. These 12 beaches carry their danger differently. Some will take you in the current before you understand what is happening. Some have predators that the water conditions make almost impossible to detect before contact. Some are poisoned so thoroughly that the danger is not in a single encounter, but in what the water puts into your body over time. Some have been legally closed because a government decided that the evidence of what happens to people who enter the water is clear enough to justify removing the choice. The ocean is not hostile. It does not decide to hurt people. It operates according to physics and biology that predate human beach culture by millions of years. The rip current at Hanakapiai was doing exactly what it is doing now, long before the first person tried to swim in it. The sharks at Gansbai were hunting in those waters before the town existed. What changes is when people arrive without understanding what they are walking into. The beauty of a beach is real. So is what it costs you when the ocean decides it has somewhere else it needs to take you. Which of these beaches would you still visit, just to see it from the shore? Leave it in the comments. And if you want to keep exploring the places on this planet that are more dangerous than they look, subscribe to Parallel Facts. We will keep going.